I think we're live.
Just
I think
over.
Are we live?
it says we're live. I got the title screen going.
The choices is yes. The
It's
choices
the
is live.
Villains Talk Show!
I don't know about the YouTubes, but the choices is good. Welcome to the film.
Hosted by Sarah the Viking, C4, Insaniac, Sir Jeremy, and Greasy Boy.
Welcome to the talk show. Shout out to our wonderful and amazing Patreon for the wheel. We love you so much. If you want to be a Patreon or check out our other social media stuffs, check out the link tree. Somebody worked really hard on that link tree, and there's a tree of things that links you to other things.
Did. No one knows who.
Somebody.
Really. No one knows who.
Yeah.
But somebody worked hard.
An unnamed individual.
An unnamed individual who will never be thanked.
We also like to talk about
that doesn't
Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout's the best. We set up our podcast and stuff through Buzzsprout. So if you wanted to do podcasting with wonderful things, check out Buzzsprout.
Are we done? Yeah. Are we done the pander button? Are we done? No, we're not.
Is there other things?
New show. Oh yeah, we're a podcast. Listen to us on podcasts on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get podcasts. We do new shows every Wednesday. If you're listening to the podcast, it's every Monday and Wednesday, and yeah, 2 Shot Fridays, and I think we're done. Hello and welcome to the podcast, everyone who's listening at home and watching live.
Welcome.
Hi. I'm the only one showing my face today. Not that anyone listening would know, but I think it's hilarious because I got bags under my eyes and I've been working 13-hour days the last 5 days.
The face of the villains.
Oh yeah, and so my face is too pretty to not show on.
I mean, I did offer to show up today, but no.
No, it wasn't that bad today, but it's been bad all week. But that being said, today's topic, if you're looking and wondering what the hell games and groundhogs are, is we're talking about game news and the groundhogs. In fact, the groundhogs are such a hot topic. We almost started talking about it before we went live. I had to just say let's.
We had to just get going right away.
We had to just go because so we found.
We can't stop.
Man, how do we start? We have to basically rewind this. So Groundhog Day.
No, we have to start over just like Groundhog Day.
Happy Groundhog Day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day was not too long ago.
Groundhogs.
It's today, actually.
Unless you live in
weather system we follow.
Unless you live in Nova Scotia.
That's not yet.
If you live in Nova Scotia, it's a lobster.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
I know.
So, is it really?
So, in the news today, one of the groundhog passed away.
So when I found that out, immediately Greasy Boy was telling me just before we went live. He's like, "Yeah, I think it's the one in Alberta." And I'm like, Balzac Billy. And then he's like, "No, the one down in the States by New Jersey." I'm like, "Wait, Puxatawny Pat?"
Man, these names.
It's at this moment I realize I know, maybe know a bit too much about that.
About groundhogs, my goodness. About Millie, what was it, Greasy Boy?
It would be Millie.
Milton Mel.
Oh. Milton Mel.
Died just before Groundhog Day.
See.
So does that mean that then there's a never-ending winter, or that winter's going to end immediately?
No, because
37 years.
There's multiple groundhogs and winter animals that tell the forecast across America and Canada.
It's how farmers figure out crops.
Clearly, that
like
one
lobsters.
Now going to
lobsters. It makes sense because it's a fishing.
All of them predicted 6 to 8 more weeks of winter, except one. The one in Ontario. I'm trying to think of his name. I'm trying to think of his name.
Insaniac gets a shorter winter than the rest of us.
Oh yeah, dude. That's great. I'm sensitive to the cold, bro.
No way, not fair.
That's awesome. I've been fucking dealing with shit because we just had the crazy winter storm a couple fucking weeks ago, guys. I don't know if you noticed the blizzard Trina or something. I don't know what the name was.
For anyone who out there doesn't know why there's a bunch of random people in suits and top hats that stand beside Puxatawny Pat's burrow every year in Pennsylvania and wait for him to come out, is because groundhogs are especially fun animals. They're extremely friendly, first of all. So and they're actually, unlike most burrowing animals, they're actually decent for the ground because they're big and they don't have a lot of litters, and they actually turn the soil. So that's a you know just the thing about groundhogs. But because nothing actually hibernates, a groundhog, what it will do is it will, if I remember correctly, it doesn't store enough food for winter. And what it will do is it will decide if it's whether it's time to hunt or not. And if it's deciding it's time to hunt, that means it's warm enough that it feels safe enough that it doesn't have enough, that the predators have basically moved on. Because if a groundhog comes too early out from the hole, then it's,
And like owls and things. And
yeah, it's easily picked off by predators, which is why it sees its shadow. It's a bad thing.
Yeah, I thought it was also I thought that judgment was for like the crops for farmers and stuff. Because if they knew the groundhog came out, they knew they could start farming a bit earlier. At least I thought that was the thing.
You know what? I would not be surprised if you're wrong, but I'd want to look that up because the farmers. It's always back to the damn farmers.
I thought that was what it was. I'm not really too sure because you got to make sure you're having the wheat and all that stuff coming in at the right time. The corn, the children of the corn.
No, I was thinking of that South Park episode where they sacrifice Britney Spears.
Oh yeah,
this year's harvest will be great.
Yeah, that's the episode. It's so funny.
And then there's a lobster in, like I said, I believe it's Nova Scotia.
Is there not one in BC too, like or Victoria?
No. The furthest west one is Balzac Billy, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like a lobster, like a sea creature, right? Because it would make sense for a port kind of city, right? Because they know how to. I don't know. It makes sense in my head, but I don't. I'm making correlations that I don't understand. So.
That's a good question. I was about to say because there's a lot of crab in the Pacific.
Yeah, I figure to see times of the change because as the winter, as the water gets warmer at the top, maybe the bottom feeders come out, right? So you see the lobsters, right? That would be my thinking. So that way, the lake, the ocean, or at least the shore is close to the ocean. So I know things. The shore is close to the ocean will be defrosted sooner, so you can go and actually fish on warmer waters.
It's not like I know a fucking marine biologist with a master's in ocean sciences.
It looks like BC does have a groundhog.
Oh shit! Really? What's their name?
Van Island Violet.
Van Island Violet.
Oh, wow. Vancouver Island. Island Violet.
Violet.
What I want to know is like, who comes up with like some of these names because they're so bad.
I think it's usually a mayor or something.
But like the name of the town is always so much better. Like Puxatawny, Balzac.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just related to like the name, the letter oriented. Violet, Victoria, or Vancouver.
Shout out to Balzac, Canada, by the way.
Another wonderful place.
Back Alberta, even.
Backwoods Alberta.
You know what is a wonderful place right now? Bungie Studios.
You know what? I was gonna, just before we go there, I was gonna say, the only reason anyone even cares.
Let's segue.
Just before we do that, I was gonna say the only reason anyone even cares about Groundhog Day is because of Bill Murray. I've often thought of this, and I've often just been like,
that shitty remake that they recently did.
No, they didn't.
I don't know if it's a remake, but it's the same idea. But it's like a prom girl who keeps getting murdered over and over again.
There's so many, like
Happy Death Day.
But there's
Happy Death Day, yeah, that's what it is.
But wait, there's a good one, like a Tom Cruise one with like aliens in it.
Oh, is there?
Where he just gets fucking
That's hilarious.
Oh man, those are some good episodes though. Like those can be some good movies. But I'm talking about like the only reason we even know about Groundhog Day is like if you take the concept of the movie out, because that was just obviously a plot put in for the actual movie. Like the only reason anyone knows anything, even thinks about that fucking day is that movie, and I put money down on that.
My school like hardcore celebrated it when I was growing up. we had like these days that were themed around Groundhog Day with events and games and costumes.
That's interesting. I wonder if it's like a.
Because there's
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of farmers at your school.
Well, I'm trying to make that association, but
There were
I was
also
gonna say maybe I don't know if there's like a
so
Catholic
maybe
like
that's
association.
why.
That would make sense in my opinion, right?
I was gonna say that kind of proves your theory there. If they were
It's the prize-winning animal, right? Groundhogs, especially in Canada, are pretty important. For the
Man, I'm
winter.
jealous. You had like a bunch of games and a whole festival. Man, at my school, inner city, you get to Groundhog Day. It's like who fucking cares?
Yeah,
This
my
is
school's
still a
Groundhog
fucking day of
Day.
school.
Purple socks or something stupid if you want. I think that was
I don't
usually
know.
how my school celebrated Groundhog's Day.
We
We
did
had a
more for
once a month like dress up day with games and stuff. Groundhog Day
That's
was really
cool.
cool.
I just had a free day at the end of the year that was kind of like that, but
Dude.
I never had like a Groundhog's Day that was like that.
maybe
That's
like
pretty cool.
once a year we'd have a pajama day and then we'd have a pizza day. And that was
My
in
school
like
would, like,
junior
blow up
elementary.
thing once in a while, where they put up like blow up councils and like then
Yeah.
they'd have like weird like schoolyard games where you could play like touch football or
Yeah, that's partly the benefit of going to a super small school. Probably.
that was like public
100
school.
kids in K to 12.
The coolest thing that ever happened at my elementary, because I went to K to 12 too, or K to 9, was all the ninth graders when I was in grade 7. They snuck in a bunch of super soakers, and so did the 8th graders.
Nice.
And on the last day of school, literally right as the bell rang for lunch, they just grabbed all their super soakers and went classroom to classroom.
Yeah,
and
I have no doubt.
And there were still classes for the end of the school, till the end of the day. But no kid. The teachers just gave up. There was no controlling us. Like kids would grab little tiny pails and fill it with water, and just became a school-wide water fight. It was great.
Oh yeah, that's
At
awesome.
that point, you just focus on saving the electronics.
Yeah, pretty much. Any books.
Yeah,
amazing.
That's great. That's so cool. I would have been one of those kids too. Those are some good fun games there, C4.
Thinking about mine, every year we'd have like a science Olympics kind of thing because I went to a science school for elementary.
That's cool.
And there was a bunch of events where you try to get the most points for your shirt color.
Strathcona?
No.
Okay.
It was recently due to problematic issues.
Wow. Somehow I'm not surprised.
I went to a science school for gifted children, but it's been closed recently for problematic issues.
No. It's been renamed into problematic insinuations.
Now I'm really curious.
Oh man, there's a lot more here going on than we probably expected to unpack here today. Hey man, nothing wrong with science camp. Go science camp.
Is that what they call it?
Band camp, yeah.
I'll tell you what. As a Jew, my parents never sent me to camp. It was hilarious. And like I'd make the jokes about it because all my friends would go to camp over summer. I'd be like, "No, I don't go to camp, guys." And they're like, "Oh, why don't you go to camp, Jonathan?" Guys. My ancestors went to camp. We don't go to camp anymore. We did it once for a few years, and we said it's not our thing.
I'm not our thing. We're gonna pass. Oh boy. That's bad.
Number one for the arts and crafts part.
Oh man, that's so bad. Oh boy. Oh wow.
Dan was a fat kid too, so
yeah, fair enough.
You have told me the story of the one time you went to a Christian camp.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I did go to two
boy.
camps. I went to a Jewish camp once for a month, and the best camp was when I'm 13. My parents decided to send me to a camp called I'm not gonna say it, but it was a Christian camp. I think I've told this story on stream before, but
a place called there.
I was the Jew at Christian camp, and I was like treated like it. It was fucking hilarious. Like I was because I was a big kid too. So they'd play all these outdoors games, and I was always the last picked, and I was always what's that animal game? I was always given like the dumbest animal because I couldn't run. So what I would do
There's
is
an
I just
animal game? I
There's
have
so
no
many
idea what this
animal games.
is. I have no idea what this is. I've never played this before.
You
All I,
never
I'm,
played the animal
Like, there's
game?
so many.
It's
I'm
like
thinking Duck Goose,
it's the
man.
ultimate favoritist game. So if you're a camp counselor, you get to choose who's a predator and who's prey. And there's only like
okay.
there's only 10 predators, and then everyone
Yeah.
else is
That one.
prey.
Oh,
And so you get to
yeah.
pick
I've
your
never played this
favorites.
game. That's
and then
hilarious.
you get tags, and your goal is, if you're prey, just to run. But if you're a predator, you get to just hunt everyone. And like,
Fair enough. Man, you turn that shit around, be like, man, come, you be the big guy, come take my tags. I'm going to eat you. And then all the kids are like, oh shit, he's gonna kill us. That's
But-
hilarious. I've never played, like, I did like I wouldn't say like a summer camp. It was like a weird inner city, like, your parents had to work during the summer kind of camp. So it's hard to really explain. It was like a small, yeah, it was like, but it wasn't like, it was like, yeah, during the day, but it wasn't for like kids. It was for like really younger teens. And it was just really awkward. Like, we got to do arts and crafts kind of stupid things, and it was play touch football and
Dude,
things like
that
that.
sounds like when
My shirts.
That sounds like when I went on a cruise with my family at 17, and because I'm not allowed to drink because it's 18, it's
Oh man, Mexico was great for that for me
So-
when I went there.
so they don't let you drink on the cruise, and all
Yeah.
the other kids who are like 14, 15, 16, 17, they hang out in this teen lounge and play
Oh, boy.
Guitar Hero and drink pop, and I'm sitting in there, and I sat in there for 10 minutes as a 17-year-old kid, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm gonna go buy alcohol.
Cruise.
And then
Why would you be-
I walked up to the fucking bartender at the pool, and I'm just like, "Can I get a rum and coke?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." Gives me a rum and coke, and I'm like, "Oh fuck!" Like, fucking going back down there.
That was my realization since Mexico too.
Wow.
It was so funny because Mexico, like, you know, I think it's what 16 there. I don't know, but I was on like the.
So I don't give a fuck down there. That's what it is.
It was most of the time, anyways. But I'm on the resort and I'm like at a swing. I went to this one little bar and I asked for a drink once and they gave it to me and didn't even question. So I'm like, I wonder if I could do this again. And I just ended up going to like the other bars at the hotel. And they had 3 on the lot. So I got plastered at the swing bar by the beach, and they cut me off. So I went to the other bar, and then my dad caught me drinking with ladies, and he's just like, "All right, time to go to bed."
That's funny.
So let's take that as a segue into games.
Oh boy,
yeah.
what a games!
The other topic today is games news. Lots of games news. We don't usually do news, so we're gonna have a kind of a double
Yes,
week
no.
of it. Actually, next week, I've been talking to some people from a certain area of the world, and we are going to have a guest, and that's all I'm gonna say. But I'm pretty excited.
We'll talk about it a bit more at the end of
But
the stream.
it's
Tool that'll help us later on.
maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe this is all we'll say, and we'll
I
give
will-
them a
I will-
taste. Yeah.
Okay.
Come next week for our spicy.
Come
You
hither or
gotta
high
tease
water.
them.
But
That way
Heather
you
High
entice
Water.
them to come
it's
back.
going to be basically the theme of this week and next week is going to be we're actually going to talk about topical things. So this week
For a change, yeah.
Wow,
is games. I know
This
it's
week is
weird.
games.
We
Yeah.
usually try to stay away from the hot button issues that is politics, but
Hot button issues, huh?
Hot button
Alright.
issues.
you know what? None of you are showing your
Issues.
face, and all I see are bags under my eyes. So
Oh,
I
we're
don't even
gonna
try
live
to
with
say
it.
all
the
these.
bags under your eyes. Stop pointing them out and no one will know.
That's so funny. I mean, no one in podcast land is looking other than the
Beautiful
stern
face.
face that you're making. That's the next T-shirt right there. Somebody screenshot that.
Anyway,
That's attractive.
so we're going
Very.
to be talking about games news, and the biggest games news is I'm a skeptic. I'm also a very, very, very cynical person, and I hear about Sony buying Bungie, and everyone I hear is like, "Oh yay, Bungie's gonna be great," and I'm like, "No, it's not."
I don't know if it's gonna be great.
Hey, I'm gonna go on a limb. I didn't want to say this to anyone in chat, but I'm gonna be honest. When I heard that news, my first thought is, "Oh great, so they're gonna turn Bungie into an app game company.
That's kind of what I wouldn't say that's what I was thinking, but I was kind of feeling that. Like I'm like it didn't hit me as like, oh good, Bungie's joining PlayStation. It's just like, okay, like Bungie's joining PlayStation, I guess. Like it's for me, like it's cool, it's interesting. I'm not a big Bungie fan because I played Halo a bit and I've seen like Destiny and some other different Bungie products. Like they're pretty good. Like for some people that enjoy them, like I enjoy some of the settings and stuff. Halo, I did like the story a lot. It got kind of weird and convoluted. I didn't really have an Xbox for long, so I never played all of them. But like they're pretty good developing system. Or developing studio. I don't know, different genres, different people, right? But I think it's interesting that I don't know. Did Microsoft let them go? Did the PlayStation just offer them a better deal? Like I
That's
don't
a
know.
very good question that I have been working too much to actually have looked up. If someone wants to take 5 seconds out of their life and look that up.
Not even.
I used to play Destiny for like a very, very, very long time.
Hey, poor soul.
You shut your whore mouth.
No, I would gladly keep my whore mouth open. It makes me money.
Just spilled my tea everywhere.
Was it though?
I'm surprised how far we're getting things.
Microsoft hasn't had Bungie for a while. The last one they were owned by was Activision.
Okay.
Just before Activision bought Blizzard.
Are you supposed to instill hope with me about this game you play
So
called
does that
Destiny,
sound
or
like-
you're supposed to make me feel like that?
So does it sound like PlayStation offered them a better deal?
Weird name.
The issue before was they wanted their independence. They didn't want somebody to come in and like monetize the shit out of like bullshit. And then you can tell like as their studio is slowly getting crushed, they've been monetizing their own game. It's like the Eververse store got really bad. Still kind of is bad. They just took the dungeons out of the main game. You have to buy like the deluxe edition.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big oof.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big oof.
Yeah.
So, about them becoming an
And
app
then
game company.
Sony just bought them out and has promised them full like autonomy.
Oh, PlayStation bought them.
Oh, autonomy, they full
Will
autonomy.
they continue doing
They're
that?
getting there's like a whole deal where they're supposed to be able to keep their like independence with Sony's backing.
Why do I feel like it's gonna be
And
Warframe?
well, here's the thing: is where I've looked at a lot of games like that Sony's touched, and most of them aren't monetized.
That's true.
Ghost of Tsushima not monetized. God of War franchise also not monetized.
Yeah, that's fair. Some of the games, not all, I don't really know much about PlayStation's like setup, but I really like they're my preferred console personally. But I also like PC.
I
for
mean,
certain things. It
I
depends on the
play
game.
I play console Sony and
Call of Duty is Activision.
There is it does,
Yeah.
but I mean like
They lost my love a long time ago.
there's still those microtransactions.
Yeah, that's Activision all through.
Yeah, that's always Activision.
Well, that's yeah.
Those God-
What? Look, they got acquired by Activision, and all of a sudden, microtransactions.
You know what's so great about that's that's why I'm really excited for the new Dragon Age game that they're talking about.
Gross.
Even though they're supported by EA, I don't really enjoy any of that. But I love BioWare as a studio. They're amazing. They do really great things. And with some of the from what I heard with some of the success with the new Star Wars game, the Fallen Order, EA has kind of seen the profit of some single player games and not having all unnecessary shit. So they're supposedly putting that forward into Dragon Age, that they're not. They announced that before the last one it might have been multiplayer,
really?
like how Anthem was
sorry.
multiplayer.
I
Now they can completely cancel that, where it's only going to be a single player
Okay.
experience, which
I
I'm
just want you to
everyone
say-
is so excited about.
I just want you to say it. You are putting faith in an Activision game. EA Activision.
No, I'm putting faith. No, I'm putting faith in a BioWare studio.
Which is, I think it's EA.
You're putting faith in an EA game.
You make your assumptions as you see fit.
It's not an assumption. I just want it played as
You heard my response.
So you do have faith in an EA game.
You're making your assumptions.
Assumptions are a way to
Is
put
that,
it.
is,
Mm. Thank you. That's good.
Well,
That's good. That's
we'll check back with you when it comes out and ask you how great it is.
I'm hopeful. Mass Effect was good, but it had some issues.
I've been playing Pokemon the last
I'm
couple
sorry.
days.
I want to
Well,
bring that.
also, let's be fair on Mass Effect. We're talking about which Mass Effect. Like the first two were good.
Oh yeah, the
Mhm.
second
The
one was great.
second, yeah, the second one was
Just like
great.
Dragon Age 2 was the best, and then all the other ones are just crap.
Yeah. What was it? Was it? Dragon Age 2 fell on its face.
It's my favorite
But
one.
the
It's
story
actually good.
was good. The story was good. I like it a lot too. It was the one I disliked the most when I first started playing it, but after I went back to it, I really
It's
enjoyed
just too
Dragon
bad
Age
it's
2.
owned by a shitty studio that's probably gonna shit all over it, make you microtransaction just to get that new character.
I mean, they ain't gonna do that because they already said they're not. They did that in
Oh,
Inquisition.
because EA has never lied and gone back on any promise they have ever made.
I'm not
ever.
saying that. I'm saying because they already did that in Inquisition, and every person that played it complained about that.
Yeah, I played 20 minutes of that game, saw that, and literally have not turned it on since. I cannot.
You know what's funny? That part is literally only the multiplayer. That is only the multiplayer. You know that, right?
It's still shit. I'm still never gonna touch
Oh.
Inquisition. I still own it. Never
Playing
fuck that game.
Most of the game that was meant to be
I
a
can't believe I wasted $65.
I played
on
the
that
single
crap.
player because the multiplayer game, which is honestly not even the same. See, that's why I didn't like Dragon Age 2, because their mechanics were different. But the story was good.
The mechanics was what made me like it. The rest of the game, like, no.
It was good mechanics, but it was different. That's why it was different from the first one.
Anyway, back to game news.
See, you're just jealous of it, of this wonderful game.
About people being sold out.
Legends Arceus was pretty good.
Speaking of Pokemon, yeah, our new Pokemon coming out.
It's already out. I've been playing
it
it
out?
since Sunday.
You know what? I am
Of course, you've been
pissed
playing it.
because I wanted to play that Pokemon FPS. I've seen so many videos on it, and I'm like,
For those that are hearing us,
honestly,
bring back the Pokemon FPS.
fuck,
Bring it back.
like, they don't have to make it nearly as bloody, but I swear to God, like, if Square Enix like went out and said fuck it, we'll do this, and made like
Pokemon Hunter.
Cause like I understand Pokemon's for kids, but you could make a game aimed at adults.
That's for
where
adults.
It's like
Team Rocket.
where it's like
The dark side of Team
reality
Rocket.
Pokemon, where like you have a
Yeah.
Pokemon Growlithe and you're like a police officer with an actual gun. Like you have to go stop Team Rocket from
Yeah,
doing
like actually the
actual
realism,
crimes.
right?
Like
That would be
realist
cool.
Pokemon. That would be a fucking. You know what the best thing is? You could make that a horror game.
Yeah, you totally
like
could.
with your Pikachu or whatever fucking Pokemon they want to give you, and
Yeah,
like
well, imagine being in the caves, right? You have it all dark and
Dude,
shit,
you
and
act-
you have like
and you
a
have to
Growlithe,
fight
like
actual
Charmander that
evil-
can keep you like in the darkness, that keeps all the light.
and if they're like too fucking up their own ass with PETA about killing the fucking Pokemon, they'll just make it shoot humans.
It's Pokemon.
No one
yeah.
cares if you shoot humans.
Then yeah, shoot
And
the other
then- and
people.
then
Have the
have,
Pokemon kill the
a
Pokemon.
Pokemon like tranquilizer that they use to purify the evil Pokemon. Done. I wrote the fucking game for you. You'll sell millions of copies. Fuck
Printed in
Square Enix. Like, holy shit.
The
Take
Pokemon
the
Hunter.
idea.
Please, I want this. This sounds amazing.
Dude, that would actually be a fucking sick game.
I would play that. I enjoyed the Pokemon games, but it
Fuck.
needs to pander to the adults a little
Dude,
bit more.
Have you ever played that game Fear? Anyone play Fear?
I know of that game, yeah. Like the
think
F,
so, yeah.
the F.E like for PlayStation,
The
right?
sk- the- like
FE.ER.
the horror FPS for PC.
Yeah. They did 3, right? It was
Like
about that little
imagine,
girl.
I imagine like taking that template and making it the Pokemon FPS.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
can see
like
that.
Fear. So like you're fighting ghost Pokemon and your life to
Yeah, it's
man.
like first person, not third person, instead of that over like shoulder you're used to,
Oh,
right? For
that's
looking
fucking-
through the grass.
That would actually be so fucking good.
And then all of a sudden like a Jinx pops out and you're like, oh shit.
Someone out in cyberspace screen cap this and send this to Square Enix.
See,
It's a free
Tell you.
idea. It's just
Gold
for
mine.
them.
Just shout us out.
No,
Idea
No
from
one
you.
else.
don't even have to. Don't even have to
Don't
shout
even
us out.
have to, fair enough.
Just steal.
Okay.
Just steal the idea. Just straight up.
Give it, yeah,
Just
take
straight
it.
Up, straight up steal it. Nobody will care.
Yeah, I'd just be appreciated to play that game,
Exactly.
to be honest. Yeah. The Pokemon Hunter.
Fucking-
Make it like a Crocodile Dundee, like a main character or something like that, like Steve Irwin. He just wants to help the Pokemon.
No, I
Or
make
like there's one that wants to kill the hunter, kill them.
make like
Well,
a
I mean,
gritty Nicolas Cage.
we gotta find the national Pokemon.
He did own an octopus at one point, so maybe it fit.
I think it would be great if it was Nicolas Cage, but Willy's Wonderland Nicolas Cage.
That would be
Doesn't
funny.
say a word the whole movie.
That poor octopus.
Yeah, right.
That's all I can think about. I feel so bad for that octopus, man.
I mean, if anything, the octopus is probably the smarter one of the
That
two.
octopus has probably seen some shit too. Like, thank God it can escape in almost any kind of crevice. Because holy shit, the things it would have to run from.
Keeps it in like a fishbowl.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's forced to witness everything.
He will turn he'll make his head big enough to suction the water in like some weird astronaut suit, and he'll flip it over and crawl out. He'll do a pufferfish kind of thing, and he'll suction cup the water that's in there so his head fits the inside room. And he's the astronaut octopus. He'll fuck right off.
Fucking octopuses are disgustingly smart too. Like,
Oh,
They are.
deadly smart.
They don't need water for the most part either.
No, they don't. They're like whales,
They're
kind of
almost amphibious.
well, actually, that's not a good way to explain it, whales, but yeah, reptiles. That's a better way to explain it. Yeah. Like, they need to be moist, or like crocodiles, kind of.
Crazy.
Yeah,
They need to be in water.
they're
once in a while,
almost
but they can totally-
amphibious.
I kind of want to
Give it
know.
a couple thousand years, and they might be walking on land.
Ooh.
I've played that shitty game.
They could be like the dolphins.
I played that really, really shitty game.
It was a great game.
And I got good at it.
Was that a game? That sounds familiar. That sounds like
It
Half-Life.
was Octodad.
Oh, Octodad.
God.
Okay, yeah. I knew that game. I watched somebody play through that game.
A playthrough. There's only 4 levels.
I wasn't gonna buy it. I was not gonna spend my money on that.
I feel sorry.
There's actually 6 with the DLC.
I wonder
I
how
saw
many.
that too. Yeah, the Deadliest Catch.
What game is this?
The Octodad.
What?
Play as
Look it up, Sarah.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
Don't-
just
don't
called
even- don't
Octodad.
even- like- like,
I want to.
What?
Premise is great.
Just look it up.
Are you an octopus father? What?
Yes, that is exactly it. I have nothing else I need to explain.
And he's actually the dad.
Yeah, he's actually a dad,
Of an
and he
octopus?
doesn't know he's an octopus.
No.
Of children.
Of human children.
They have 8
And
children?
he's just.
No.
I mean,
he's
play the
No,
game.
there
you'll
was
find
only
out.
2, I think.
octopus.
What?
He's Octodad. He's an octopus.
It's a-
Okay.
He's
Just
a
look it up,
dad.
Sarah. This is,
It's Octodad. I feel like
I don't know how else we can describe this to you.
It's like it's just exactly what we're saying.
It's
It's not that hard.
an octopus that is
Hey.
the dad to these human children.
That's weird.
And a
Human
wife.
wife.
I don't
Yeah.
know how else to say it.
That's weird. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. That's why we're explaining
You,
it.
you
Welcome
said
to the
it
same
now. I
page.
understand.
Welcome to the same page. Oh, cat in the background, calling out to cat fuzzies. There's a elusive black cat there.
Not a
No,
black
isn't
cat.
There was. He made an
No, it
appearance for a
Flies.
screenshot.
Stop lying. Stop lying like EA to your face about
Everyone's
there
that
not
quick
being,
screenshot of the black
not
cat.
being microtransactions in
Yeah.
your next Dragon Age game.
Hey, I'll send you screenshots when I play it, so I can show you. I'll
You know,
promise that.
I'll be happy to, because I'll be happy to be like, I'll be happy to text you on the day it comes out, be like, those screenshots, eh? Where are they?
I don't know if I'll get it right away, but I will send you the screenshots when I play, and I'll talk about it.
I can't wait for all it
Man.
to be behind a
was-
massive paywall to
what
even
was-
get through half the game.
What was the
I
game?
mean, that would be Battlefront too.
I recently did this to Jeremy, I thought like a year or 2 ago. That's right!
Wow,
Maybe a
that
year
sounds
or 2
great.
ago.
When-
Wow, that sounds ominous.
Back when we started playing D&D, Jeremy was telling me he's getting excited for Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah.
I remember looking at you, Jeremy, and saying, "Don't do it."
I mean, when it's finished, it'll be good, but it's still not finished yet.
One day, just like
Just like Fallout 76.
just like No Man's Sky.
Cyberpunk's already talked about releasing their first DLC.
You know what? I don't understand why game developers don't just do it the Todd Howard and just embrace it and like turn all the broken aspects and just be like, no,
it's DLC.
It's
those
no.
are
You just say it's a perfectly designed game and just leave
It's
it
part
as
of the
is.
game, yeah.
Those are the features of the game.
Look
You
at
don't need to worry
Skyrim.
about
Look at it, man. Skyrim's been around for 12 years now, and it's still just as broken.
And it's still being
and they re-released the anniversary edition, but this time with fish.
And it's still just as broken.
Fish.
And he just wears it on his sleeve. He's just like, fuck it. Yeah, yeah. You love Skyrim. You love Oblivion.
This time there's survival mode, guys.
Oh, what? That giant's club knocks you 150 feet in the air and instantly kills you, and you're like level 99?
That's supposed to happen. We programmed for that random occurrence to happen every once in a while. Some reason. Somehow it will occur.
Don't make sense to me, 100%.
It's like the Wabbajack in every sense.
There is one game that I actually was intrigued by because we were trying to play Sea of Thieves, but I'm horrible with keeping up with games. Anyone's seen that new game that's come out with like you play as a dwarf?
Oh, the dwarf digging mine game where it's
dwarf
like
digging space mine game.
It's like you have to hold out from spiders as you dig stuff.
Like
yeah,
it's Starship Troopers with space dwarves.
It's dead, but space dwarves, yeah.
Fucking sweet. I just want to fucking throw on.
I've seen people play it. It's
Glory Hammer and fucking play that.
It honestly reminds me a bit of Evolve, but without like a giant deadly creature, just a bunch of little tiny ones.
Yeah, Evolve is a dead game.
It is a dead game. It had a lot of potential, though. It would have been good if it just evolved. They couldn't do it.
That game, there was too many problems. But no, I want to play that dwarf game.
You just want to do it like Sarah already said. There's no problems. It's perfectly designed.
Except when you play the monster, if you had anyone who was half decent, you could not lose.
Well, if you had a good team, I've seen people stop with a good team, but you're right. A deadly monster would fuck shit up. That's the whole point. It's like Dead by Daylight, and that's kind of where they did it better, but Dead by Daylight's completely fucked too.
And all the good monsters were behind a paywall, like the super 10-bit store monster. So if you had that, and you had you had that character, every time you played as the monster, you instant won. Because you had all
they had like Cthulhu monster and shit, and then that one was like cool. They had another one. When they went free to play, they unlocked them all, but then it just died at that point. Because there was nobody. There was nobody left on the game anymore to be like, oh, it's free to play. Let's play it anyways.
Only Counter-Strike can do that. Every Counter-Strike and Dota, because they've always been free to play.
Yeah, if you're gonna be free to play, you have to stick that way.
Every other game
you can't just be like, oh, now we're free.
Well, every other game that goes free to play, it's like the signal of the end. It's just
That's what happened to the Secret World. It was an MMO that I really wanted to play. That was like that. It had a lot of cool potential, and then it was like World of Warcraft at start. And then it dropped and went free to play on Steam.
Dude, I never really got into World of Warcraft, but I played this fucking shitty Japanese version called Lineage 2.
Oh, I've heard of that game, yeah. That one was kind of shit too, yeah.
I played the shit out of Lineage 2, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on. You'd have these crazy cutscenes, and it's all in English, and I'm sitting there.
I know. I played it for a bit. It's a weird fucking game. It didn't make a lot of sense. You're just dropped in some random thing with no idea what the fuck's happening, and it's just like quest on, adventurer.
At least Final Fantasy, man, gives you a reason to not be able to follow it. It's like it's convoluted.
I never played it. I think I played. I don't know which one was on PlayStation 1. That it was some kind of sequel. I don't remember which one, but.
Trust me, man, they're all sequels.
It was beyond confusing, and it was really odd. I didn't like the concept of the giant greatsword, and I was like, nah, I think this isn't for me. And then I started playing a ninja game called Tenchu, and that game honestly completely died, but it was pretty cool for the time that it was out. A smaller equipped blade instead of a giant one.
Any more gaming news that we're missing?
Foxhole thing. I think an elusive gentleman had something to tell us about for the free to play. I think that is free. Is it? No, you pay for it, right? Pay for Foxhole. I paid for Foxhole.
Foxhole, yeah, you pay for it. It's still early access, but you pay for it.
Yeah, it's an early access. Apparently, players in that game have been having a Reddit strike because
Dude, it's so good.
Tell us a bit about it, because I don't know much about it.
So you guys have played, at least a couple of you.
Yeah, me and
Yeah.
C4, and
Right?
I played.
I think Sarah's the only one that hasn't.
For anyone who doesn't
So-
know out there,
that
it's
makes
a
sense.
basic top-down war game. You can either be like, you can either build war machines and help.
It's
warfare,
a
you can-
top-down, third-person war simulation
game.
game.
Yeah.
Anyway,
play one
Right
side
down
or
to
the
building trenches, farming materials,
It's-
and manning
so
and
scraps
fighting the war.
supplies, and holding borders.
it's been
and
in
things.
early access for like 6 years. It's gonna be.
And honestly, if you haven't checked it out, you should. I think it's a lot of fun.
It's gonna be one of those
But-
It is
early
a lot of
access
fun,
games
but-
forever.
So there's an issue with Logitech. And Logi is the scrapping and delivering of materials and building of gear and bringing it to the front lines, right? The transferring of goods. They just added another 10 or something new hexes or 12 new hexes. The map's like almost double the size now.
Yeah, it got bigger. I remember seeing that update too.
Okay.
And the roads haven't gotten any better, and the ability to transport materials hasn't gotten any better.
Yeah,
If anything, it's getting more difficult.
It's harder because longer
they
hauls.
keep longer hauls, and they keep adding new tanks, new guns, new weapons,
Oh,
new
yeah.
ammo. So to focus down on certain weapons is really hard, right? You have all these
Yeah.
people on the front lines using like their
All
favorite
different kind of
weapons,
shit. Yeah.
right? So they're
Yeah, there should be a
demanding all
limited
these
weapon
different.
supply.
Well, it's not even the limited weapon supply. It's just to make it like simpler. There's even a colored priority list on which items they should fix
Oh,
first
really?
and which
I didn't
ones
know
are
they did that now.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
So I'm guessing all the people who just play support in the game are striking.
So the Logi Union, as they're calling themselves now on Reddit,
No.
Of course.
actually
That makes
had
sense to me.
a Twitch stream sit down with like 4 or 5 of the major like Twitch Logi streamers, and they had like a meeting, like a 3-hour meeting that you can watch or
Wow.
something somewhere, right?
Wow. That's great. Commitment to a game. It's impressive.
That's impressive, but it doesn't shock me.
So what the Logi players have done in Strike, because they've all voted on what they should do. Should we start attacking our own players and making the game unfun? Should we fuck with the mining routes and stuff like that? And the votes have actually been the opposite. Like, they don't want to ruin other players' experience.
Yeah, you shouldn't troll the game just because the ship's not
and-
working.
Yeah, they don't want to troll the game, right? And also they don't want to break the terms of service.
That's fair.
So, like, cyberbullying and shit, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you can't in a war
so
game. You can't
in
not
an
make things
effort
seem malicious.
for quote unquote a non-peaceful protest, all of the major Logi players have moved to the front line. So
They're still
nobody's
fighting.
transporting goods. Everybody's on the front line fighting.
That's hilarious.
So
Everyone's got pistols and
everyone's
shit.
probably fighting with pistols and knives.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah, so like 10 days into the war, people are running out of ammo and having to fight with knives and shit.
You gotta take ammo
That's
from the dead
great.
guys, right?
Dude, and
That's
then
cool though.
one person walks
It's
in
like
with a tank
you
and
spawn
guns.
you spawn
It's
in
so
with
cool for the
handguns, right?
concept of the war though too, because then imagine that. Imagine like in the war where just all of a sudden manufacturing shuts down, right? Now what is the army gonna do? Now you have to fight with weapons. Yeah,
But
you gotta
now-
fight back, bro.
Now
Not
it's
only is
Russia.
manufacturing
Welcome
shut
to
down, it's
Russia
shutting down on both
1944.
sides.
Japan, right? You're busting out samurai swords now. That'll be hilarious. Or like trench shovels, you're beating everybody with a trench shovel. Like,
Dude,
So it's too funny.
that's great.
And then the opposite of that. So there are 2 tactics to Strike, right? One is all the major Logi players are moving to the front lines. Number 2 is all the major Logi players are actually forming suicide squads and bombing the opposite team's Logi lines. So not only are their team running out of materials, they're bombing the other team's materials, which
that's
is
pretty good.
well within the terms of the game. Those are guerrilla tactics, and those are actual wartime
so
tactics,
good.
right?
That's amazing.
It's
That's
gotten to
pretty
the point where
amazing.
some logic
That's
points
so
or some
great.
logic
That's
players
absolutely amazing and ingenious.
they formed into small teams and they sit in boats off of the coast with sniper rifles, high-powered
Oh my
sniper
god.
rifles, and they're shooting out the engines of these trucks,
Oh my god. And just taking out the supply trucks, not even supplying them, just destroying the trucks and moving
just
on.
destroying the trucks. And no, like sitting out there way off the fucking coast in boats. And
That's
it's like
awesome.
3 and 4-man sniper teams just
Oh,
sitting out
that's
in a
great.
boat sniping trucks. And if the truck dies and sits out in the middle of the bridge, you no longer can use that bridge until you move the fucking
Yeah,
truck, right?
now the bridge is in danger, and anyone who
That's
tries
fucking
to go out and tries to move the
hilarious.
truck gets shot at.
So what you're saying is it's just become that's the
If
best.
you look on YouTube, there's logic unique
Resources and
videos.
just destroy the resources.
If you've got 5 minutes, man, watch some of those YouTube videos because they're hilarious.
It's
The
amazing.
That is pretty
The
funny.
first day, a bunch of the major front lines, like clans and stuff,
Oh,
are
boy.
losing their shit at their own teams for not like doing logi.
That's so great, man. And they can't get mad because then it's breaching terms of service.
So they're that's the coolest way to strike against the devs.
Oh, that's so great.
That
But
is
that's
a
great
gr-
because the
that is
devs
a
can
genius
then
way to do
they
it.
can advance combat now in melee
No,
in that
okay.
sense, or they could fix shit
So-
properly how it should be.
The story goes on.
I would love if they fixed melee.
There are rumors because of how remember how we played 2 different or 3 different wars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The major resources and refineries are moved around the map to make certain parts of the map more vital than others, and no war feels the
They're
same
actually
as another,
thinking about the
right?
map now and tactical positioning. That's good.
They've been doing that for a while, right? So
Yeah.
Okay.
there's rumors that the devs almost formed a way of striking back because there are half as many refineries all moved to the back lines of both teams.
I see. That's interesting. But that still makes a choke point.
So there's this huge open area, like center area, dead man's land, right?
That's so dumb.
That's where these fights are coming down to pistols and knives.
Yeah, it's just gonna be these guys fighting in scrapyards with pistols and knives.
That would actually. I might actually go back on the game now. That actually
That's
sounds like a
so
lot of fun.
funny. That is absolutely hilarious. Like,
So we're 5 minutes away from the hour. Is there anything anyone wants to close on?
oh man.
Trying to debate whether I should go to bed or finish reading the last 40 pages of The Hobbit to crush a 14-year-old.
Why don't you just
That's
look
right.
at this and
That's what we'll end on. We're gonna end on that. That's right. Thank you for reminding me, Sarah.
Hobbit.
Sarah the Viking is amazing.
I like that you're trying to get back at a student by learning.
Do
Yes.
you want to tell the story, Sarah? I think it's your story. You should probably end on this.
The kids that I work with, they have
Struggles
to
of being
read
a teacher.
3 novels this year. Literally one, they have like 3 terms in the year, so one each term.
Okay.
This term started in November and it ends at the beginning of March. And we've got a few kids who just hate reading, but we've got one who's so vocal about it and he just complains and whines every time his teacher tells him to read a book. And it makes me so angry. Because he's so annoying about it. And like, this is a smart kid with like good academic skills and all of that. And he just whines and complains.
Oh, just doesn't like reading, to be honest.
So I tried to help him find a book he would like, and he was talking about how he watched The Hobbit and enjoyed it. So I was like, here, read the book. It's not a very long book. And he read the first 2 sentences and then started whining that it was boring, which is ridiculous because the first 2 sentences of The Hobbit are amazing.
Right, maybe Aragon. That might be a
What?
good start. Aragon it's similar
Ew.
to The Hobbit. It's not very good,
Ew.
to be honest, story-wise, but
Ew.
if he likes the
Regardless,
the setting kind of
complaining it
style.
would take too long, so I told
Okay.
him
That's what
that
I
I
mean.
would read
Aragon's
it
a short book.
tonight.
There's technically 3 books, but it's just one book.
There's
Let her
4.
finish. Let her finish.
He was complaining it would take too long, so I told him I'd read it at night, and I mostly did.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't do it last night when I first said I would do it though, because it turns out we had to lent out our copy of it, and the only other copy we had was in Latin, and I can't
boy.
read The
That's
Hobbit in
cool.
Latin in a night.
You could. It's not
So,
hard. Like it's one book, The Hobbit. Like,
No. What we need to focus on is that flex. Like, to look at a 14-year-old kid and be like, yeah, I could read Hobbit in the night. Oh, if I had more time, I could probably do it in Latin, but like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that's
guess
fucking
you could say that too, but
no. That's what this is.
that's
What
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 this
a
is.
flex! What
Oh
a
Oh yeah.
flex! Like,
Calm down.
no, it's great. It made
I
me,
think it's. I
as an
think you're. I
English
think it's
major,
funny. I
that's
think
the
it's great
best
too.
flex ever. Oh
Exactly.
yeah, I can read this book in a night. If I had two, I could do it in Latin.
Yep.
I would think he might. Maybe the kid would appreciate smaller, short story fantasies.
He is required to read a book that is at least 225 pages
Ah, okay, fair enough.
and appropriate for his age level
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he probably just doesn't like reading them,
because
to be
he's
honest.
not
At
a
that
little
point.
kid.
Yeah.
What about The
Oh,
Witcher? That's a great book series.
Maybe,
I
but
have this
no, like
great-
it's
you know
just
what?
That's fair. That could be a
You know
start
what?
too. They have a good
You should
series.
trick him. Honestly, a teacher did this to me when I was in
I was
high
gonna say,
school.
yeah, that's what you should do as a teacher. You trick kids into learning.
No, they did this to me in high school, but you could probably do this to this kid because if he's being that coy, tell him there's this great book from the 1600s called The Leviathan, and say when we ask you what's it about, it's like, well, Leviathan is one of the greater demons of hell, which is what the book is named after. And
that's
then
not gonna work.
he'll pick it up and he'll get 20 pages in. And he'll be confused and he'll keep reading. And then next thing you know, he'll have read Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan.
That's not gonna work.
I read that book.
I
I
own that book.
tried handing him a bunch of books by a Christian author who is really good, and he looked at them, had no clue who the author was, and said, "I'm not gonna read those. He's what's the word?
It's probably just
I don't
not
know, the
very
wrong kind of
religious
Christian."
and just not,
And I was like,
not
"Dude,
interested in reading either. I bet the Bible doesn't go over very well with him
get
either.
over yourself."
I mean, I imagine for the school, he has to read a certain line. But he probably just doesn't like longer stories where he has to commit to.
He just doesn't like
Short
reading
attention span.
and won't try it. Claims he's never read a book. Drives me crazy.
Oh, so he just wants attention.
Has he
No.
ever gone to
Yes.
has he ever had group reading time as a child? I mean, I had that as a kindergartner.
I don't know. Education is different now.
I guess
Yeah, education's different now. You
How
can't
about you
tell
just
kids
start-
to fucking read a book.
I mean,
I mean,
do,
book
but
reports were
also,
a thing.
This kid is perfectly capable, so basically what we've come down to is if he doesn't do it, he just fails. So
You know,
and
it's
the
funny
teacher
when
in
my
his class will be his English teacher
That's-
next
I
year.
mean, that's
so
fair.
he's kind of stuck with it.
I found when I had those book reports, I didn't really care too much to read for school. I did enjoy reading myself. When I was told I had to find a book that was a specific word limit, I would look for a book that had the exact amount of pages. I'd be like, all right, what book do I like that has these amount of pages that I could get away with, so I don't have to read that much. Just do a quick fucking book report.
He's not looking for a book. He's just mining.
When I did my
Well,
book reports,
the
as a
goal was
kid,
trying to
man,
finish the assignment, right?
See, look, when I did my book reports and did my reading as a kid, like, they would always give you the suggested list, but I would go out of my way to
I would go
find,
off,
like,
too.
the most brutal and, like, just off the list books I could find. Like, I've read
Make your
this
teacher read it.
this one book called Daniel's Story, which is from the perspective of a Jewish boy watching his parents burn in Auschwitz. And I did a book report on it in grade 6.
Wow.
And the teacher's face was just, and I'm like,
Wow.
oh man, I got A's on that one. That was easy.
I
And like,
imagine
That was easy.
I had to read Night for one of my English classes. It
oh,
was
that's
a really
another great book. That's another
That
great
is amazing.
book.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was a great one. I felt really hard for that one. It made me appreciate certain things a lot more when I read that book.
It's a great book. But like, I would go out of
It
my
really
way
is.
to like I read for high school Shakespeare when everyone in fucking grade 12 was reading fucking Taming of the Shrew, one of the shittiest Shakespeare plays. I honestly looked at my English teacher and said, I'm not reading it. I'm going to read Titicus and Andronicus. I'm going to do Titicus and Andronicus. And she looked at me, she's like, what? She's like, yeah, I'm going to do the play that I want to do. And she's just, and my English teacher just baffled. And everyone's doing the report on fucking Taming the Shrew, and I'm like, so I did Titicus and Andronicus. The play starts with a woman, and she's then hit over the head with a rock. She's then brutally raped, and then to prevent the rape, her tongue is ripped out, her eyes are gouged.
She had to push the letter. I see.
And no, it's a
Oh,
it's Shakespeare.
It's a good story, but I
It's
mean, like,
Shakespeare. This is
gotta pick
Shakespeare.
the most brutal.
Oh,
Doesn't mean
dude.
it's not horrifying.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
and then like I did the Tempest in grade 11 instead of Macbeth because Macbeth is
Nice.
boring. I did the
It
Tempest.
is.
I
It
did
is.
the racist play, and then
The racist.
oh yeah, the Tempest is so racist. Like don't.
I think this is a bad one.
It's a really bad one. And then in I instead of Romeo and Juliet, I did A Winter's Tale, and that one's just about incest. That was like I just did.
That's
it.
the wild
heard of
one.
that one.
And I like every time I went to my English teacher, I was like, "Fuck you." Well, not really, but I said like, "I'm doing this play because because this play sucks, and this play sucks, and this play sucks. So I'm gonna do these plays." Well, that's not part of the curriculum. No, your curriculum says Shakespeare. Yes.
No, it doesn't. It says what play,
Well,
or it gives you a choice of two.
Well, well, maybe it's changed then.
The
Because
things definitely
it
have
did- it
changed.
didn't
I can say
stop
that
me.
much for sure.
And I got
Some
A's.
teachers-
I think that's
don't
just
care.
because you're pretty unstoppable when you set your mind to something.
I mean, as a teacher, if a student came up to me with a different book in mind, I don't think I would stop him, dude. You're pretty. You seem pretty driven to do the assignment just with a different play. Fuck, sure, man. Like, do the assignment. Like, I want to see how well you do
when
it.
your hands are pretty tied by the.
I guess when you're
But for
also
the most
like,
part, I think most
Honestly, I
people
think
be
as a teacher, I would probably bullshit a little bit for my students.
You're
sometimes.
also, like-
in like he still did the assignment,
inner
even if
city-
it wasn't this specific one.
and they're an inner city high school English teacher, and you have some metalhead who actually likes English compared
Yeah.
to the 400 other students you have a
He-
day that could give
Showing
a
initiative,
fuck
yeah,
about
dude.
what you're saying.
He's pulling out some gruesome shit. I would probably talk about it
Probably
later.
wasn't even that hard. Probably just called the super and is
okay.
like, so this kid actually cares about English, so we're just
And he
gonna
wants
let
to
him
do
do what he
these things.
wants.
Yeah, because I
Not up
mean,
to them either, but
it's probably a problem. You know, if he had problems and things with learning, and you're like, oh my god, I want to do this play. Like, fuck yeah, dude, do the play. Like,
the one place you might have trouble with that is
probably a Catholic school, I would imagine.
I don't know,
No.
Sarah. I just know I did the 3 Shakespeare plays I wanted to, while everyone else did the stupid and the worst part is they get
Romeo
like
and Juliet,
they
they
get
pick the worst ones. They
like
pick the worst.
the picture books, and they're like picture books, and they like have every single line like broken up, and I'm like reading, I'm like, I can't read this. This isn't a play. This is
That's
just a
not bad.
fucking textbook. You know, like I'm gonna go read. I actually have it, like a fucking thick book that has all Shakespeare plays that I bought in high school,
Nice.
and that's what I
Yeah.
used through high school. Is I would
I
just
read Othello,
read
and the
the
book
act-
for Othello was just so
another
dry.
another really racist play, but that's good.
It was.
Othello's
It's
really
I
good.
like the story. When my teacher showed us a movie of it, like an adaptation for a modern version of it, and it was really good. Like I love the story itself, but the book, reading the book when they gave us the book,
There's
I was
a
just
l-
like, it felt so dry in the book.
There's a lot of
Julius Caesar for fun ones. I enjoyed that.
we're gonna end on this with Othello because I do gotta go to bed. We should wrap up, but
We
just
are
so you
kinda
know,
here.
there's a lot of conjecture about Othello because when Othello was written, there was a famous noble in the French court, whose I believe great grandson or grandson wrote a very famous book called The Three Musketeers.
Oh,
I see. Okay.
So
that's
yes,
cool.
he was a black noble. I'm trying to think of the name so I don't mess it up. But it was a lot of conjecture when Othello came out because Othello was seen as a direct dig towards this noble.
I wanna call it something since it's Black History Month. I want to say I learned about.
Oh hey, yeah, we end up Black History. What a great way to end.
I
Black
also
History
learned
Month.
about an African samurai, and he was like given his own noble house back in the day. I think his name was Yasuka.
Yeah.
I was so impressed to hear about that. I just want to shout out because I appreciate all people, and that's super amazing to hear. And I
That's
didn't know
pretty
that.
awesome.
That was something I learned, and I was like, "That's so cool!" Like I
But
love
yeah,
learning more
so
about different cultures.
There was
so.
a black samurai, and in case you didn't know, the writer of the Three Musketeers. Fuck, why can't I think of his name? It's holy crap.
Oh, I know this.
I know this too.
I don't know it. I'm not an English major. I don't know.
I don't know why I can't remember. That's gonna kill me.
For those who know, be sure to let us know in
Alexander
comments.
Dumas.
Alexander Dumas.
There you go.
Alexander
Oh,
Dumas.
yeah, I've heard that name before.
I
I've
can't
read
remember
Dumas
if it's his
reviews.
grandfather or great grandfather it was believed at the time when Othello came out, and the French court protected him because it was believed as it was basically an English jab at the French court. Yeah, but
Seems
still,
valid.
very famous Alexander Dumas. That's actually, yeah.
Very famous.
Want to know a random fun fact about Shakespeare?
Yeah.
What was his son named?
Son?
His son.
Not son? Son.
No
Goku.
idea.
Hamnet. Like Hamlet, but with an N.
Ah.
Guess you like the name.
Haha, and that's the Village Talk Show.
I'm
It's really
sorry. You
terrible.
had nothing better to do tonight, but I'm glad you spent it with us here. I'm C4. That was Sarah the Viking. We're also with the elusive
We'll
General,
die.
Insaniac, and the Great Greasy Boy. And we are the Village of Those Talk Show.
We love
will
you all.
see you Friday for Friday 2 Shots, or we'll see you next week for the next podcast
you all.
show special thing.
With
Yeah.
wonderful guests. We'll talk to you all later. Have a good night. Love you all.